feel like we should get a little bit of extra money because we're doing way more work than anybody else would be doing.
That is absolutely a thing.
Right.
Nice. With the wood? I mean, I hope that they don't just tear everything out. There's a lot to reuse here.
So what do you think it would cost to raise the ceilings and just like completely gut this kitchen?
Guess they're gonna do exactly what I said I wouldn't do.
We're currently in escrow at $1,075,000.
Shit. Well, it all worked out.
Well, she's a beauty.
Oh my God.
Check out that window up the top there. This is like classic. There's going to be people living in that house. You want to board up windows as fast as you can, even if you are listing this thing.
You guys gonna go on without me or what?
We're just getting here. What's up, Jeffrey?
How are you?
It's very windy.
It is. It's cold out.
It is.
We got a lockbox
Oh my
coming.
God, what are you doing?
Dude,
Are you okay?
good thing you got
Oh my
that big.
God.
Man, I'm telling you that if a window is open up top when you're walking up there and the door is open, don't just walk in that thing. There's been like some weird situations where we walk in and like people are living there. I was in this house just a few months ago that we went to check out. It was on the market. Everything looked fine. And, you know, I opened up the front door. It was the same kind of situation where I opened up the front door and it was like, was that thing locked? I don't remember. Did I unlock it or did it just open? And then, you know, I started walking in the house and I could hear like things dropping and footsteps. And I was like, geez, I'm getting out of here. And then, you know, sure enough, like walked around the house being as cautious as we could. And then like a car went screeching off out front. And so you really never know what you're getting into when you go into these houses. So
The biggest problem here, I talked to the owner. He said there is foundation issues, so we got to look around.
imagine that. Ooh, see that crack? Jeez.
Failed to mention that it's like a hoarder zone. OMG, this is disgusting.
But wait a minute, this is a first. I don't smell anything.
Yeah, there's two types of hoarders. There's hoarders that keep their junk, and there's hoarders who hoard food. If they're food hoarders, it's going to reek in there. But this is not really hoarding. This is just somebody that's kind of messy. Like, we bought houses before where you walk in and it's like floor to ceiling crap. And it's always like unused crap that just like you don't even know how they got it. There was one situation where it was literally floor to ceiling throughout the whole house. There was an attic space as well. And so, you know, I think it was 10 dumpster loads or something like that to clean everything out. And sure enough, as we're cleaning the things out, we're getting the junk out of there. And then finally, like, we discover a couch and we're getting some more junk out. And then at the foot of the couch, there were slippers. Like, one day, the person took their slippers off, sat on the couch, and maybe people started piling up junk, and then they just never sat on the couch again and left their slippers. I really don't know how it happened.
You weren't kidding with foundation issues.
Oh, wow.
Cracked.
Look, it's cracked there. It's cracked there.
There's a whole way up the stairs.
Look at that.
Oh, yeah, that's awful.
All right, so we have a decent-sized kitchen. The problem is
No, it's got that tile as the countertop. I was going to say those cabinets aren't that bad. I would probably paint those suckers and put some new hardware on it. It would look good. That backsplash doesn't look that bad either. It's like, you know, kind of a rustic style. I'm not sure. It looks like the backsplash goes all the way around, or is it just like exposed brick? But either way, it's kind of cool. You could probably make that cool. You know, like the whole goal is to save money on materials where you can. That's the whole advantage of flipping. But let's see.
the problem is the ceilings are low.
Right. Well,
Nice.
this should
With the wood? I mean, I hope that they don't just tear everything out. There's a lot to reuse here.
So what do you think it would cost to raise the ceilings and just like completely gut this kitchen?
Bye-bye.
12 to 13.
Guess they're going to do exactly what I said I wouldn't do.
Oh my God. It's like separated from the concrete.
Yeah, but it's completely pulling away out here.
Replaster the pool is going to cost us $6,000, maybe $7,000.
You're gonna have to completely take this cover down too.
But okay, imagine all this cleared up. It has nice views. It has like a nice vibes here. It could be a really nice yard.
See, here's the thing. With a house like this, like they're going to get a great discount because of all the structural damage. Like you can see cracks everywhere. And, you know, they still haven't gotten to what the actual problem is. I'm trying to look for it on the outside to see if I can see what is causing that issue. But anyway, they're going to get a great deal because of the structural issues. That's going to scare off most buyers. So the buyer's pool becomes much smaller. Therefore, you're able to get a great deal. What I would do if I were going to flip a house like that is I would just like clean up that backyard. I would make it look inviting. I would get all the trash out of that pool. I would like siphon it out, and then I would pressure wash it and make it look nice. And then as far as like, I'd get the junk out of there. I'd clean up the kitchen. I'd clean up the entire house, and then I'd fix the structural, and then I'd go sell that to a different person, maybe another flipper, or maybe, somebody who has a vision to create their own custom home. But, they're going to want that pool there, and they're going to, want to design their own kitchen and all that kind of stuff. If you can take the scary out of the house, make people who maybe lack the vision be able to see the vision, and then take the scary out of it by fixing that structural, you'd be in a really good position on a house like this. And then you save the, whatever, $100,000 that you might have to put in to renovate the whole thing to bring it up to whatever level the comps are in that neighborhood, which I imagine are pretty high. This seems like it's probably like in a high A class neighborhood. It's got like that really expensive pool in the back. It's a big house. And so you're probably going to have to do some really high end finishes here. And you could save all of that by just fixing the structural and make it look nicer.
Ew, look at that carpet.
Okay, good news. I don't know if anyone's realizing what's going on, but we're standing in a loft. We can make this a bedroom.
Oh.
All we have to do is add a closet, close up the opening, and we have a 4-bedroom, 2.5-bath house.
Once again, I would clean it out so somebody else can come in there and imagine that stuff and get excited about it. Anytime I'm getting excited about some sort of renovation, I start to think, ooh, maybe I have some emotion in this thing, and I'm kind of thinking about it for myself instead of as an investment, as a way to, make money in my business.
Wow, do you guys feel this on the floor
Right there, right?
Right in here. The whole thing is sloping this way.
Uh-oh. Ew.
We have water damage everywhere. Look.
You guys are looking at about 115.
Yikes.
Okay.
Does that include foundation issues?
Nothing structural. We've got to get the foundation company in here to take a look at that.
Right, which could be 10,000, could be 100,000. If we can get an expert out here tomorrow to check the foundation, we should. If not, there's no way we're buying this house. This house scares the crap out of it.
I can get someone out tomorrow.
All right,
Sure.
Jeff, lock it up.
All right, see you guys.
Measuring the boat. Got to figure out how much the boat is.
I'm all finished.
All right.
All right, do you have great news, good news, or bad news?
Oh, man. This house is down almost 5 inches.
Jeez.
Oh,
Okay.
this is...
By down, he means it's sunk, and hilarious that this guy is going to give this huge bid on the spot like that. Maybe that's the way they do it. Whatever. It's not my experience in dealing with these types of contractors.
5 inches. It might not sound like a huge problem, but as far as foundations go, even 1.5 inches of movement is considered severe.
So I think that it's possible what's happening is maybe the pool has a leak in it and it's saturating that ground. And then if the ground is saturated, then the foundation is ultimately able to sink. I just don't see any other possibility that it's groundwater. There's also some kind of roof leak that is causing water to maybe get into the walls, but sinking 5 inches has to be something underground.
What do you think it's going to cost?
It's probably going to be about 75 grand.
What? This is 10 times riskier than any normal flip, so there should be a benefit to us, right? So
What? All right, so he says that it's 10 times riskier. For one, they're going to take that 75 grand. They're going to go back to the seller and they're going to say, hey, we need to get a discount because we have to do this work, and it's from a licensed contractor who does this type of work. And so they'll probably just directly get that 75 grand off. But risk comes from unknowing. If you're able to write a bid that you know exactly what it's going to be and what it's going to cost, then you get a price that's based upon that, and you know that it works, then is there any risk at all? I would say no. And so actually these bigger projects like this, where you already know that you have to do this $75,000 worth of structural work, plus, whatever the $115,000 bid that the other guy gave, well, it's like, what risk do I have? Risk being unknown, because I know I have to do everything already. What else could there be? So I would say the risk is actually low. You just have to underwrite the deal well. Underwriting means making sure you know all the costs and knowing what it'll sell for.
we should make money for flipping the house, and I feel like we should get a little bit of extra money because we're doing way more work than anybody else would be doing.
That is absolutely a thing. So he's going to put $115,000 plus $75,000 in renovation costs. So we're in at 190 right now, and then plus whatever they're acquiring the house for, and then they have their cost of financing. Maybe they don't because they're on HGTV or whatever, and maybe HGTV pays for it and there's no hard money lender to pay, but they have utility costs, whatever maintenance cost there is, and also their cost to close, and then their cost of a real estate agent when they go to sell it. So all that is money in. Let's say that they're all in at like $400,000, $500,000 on this project. Well, the more money that you have in, the more of a return you should get. So if you have to do a $190,000 renovation project, you ought to get a great deal for it because nobody else is going to do it.
So he wants 650.
I don't think anyone else is going to be jumping to buy this house, so I feel like you can offer me much lower.
650, Jesus.
I mean, it's way under, but.
Yeah, but look at this place. It's falling over.
All right,
Let me know.
I will.
Okay, so not only are they asking for the $75,000 discount, they're asking for, what is that, $125,000 off of what that guy is asking for. This is why getting a great deal on the front end matters so much, that once you get a great deal on the front end, which is what they're asking for, all the risk goes away because you have so much runway. You have so much space to make mistakes, so much space for surprises. That's why you should really focus your business on getting great deals on the front end. Find houses like this, and then don't be scared to take them on, because once again, the bigger the renovation it is, the smaller the market of people who want to buy it, the smaller the pool of people who want to buy it.
We settled at $550,000 for the house. Saving $100,000 off the list price is really going to help cover the cost of the massive foundation problems. Plus, the layout and the large ensuite here will definitely attract buyers. Jeff Ray,
Yo.
is that water, Jeff?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You see it just running down the wall?
All that.
Yeah.
This is a big problem.
I'm gonna need to get somebody up.
See, this is like the Hollywood crap here, because like they saw that when they were walking through. They actually showed the video of the stains in the ceiling. So you knew there was some kind of leak up there. And if there's some kind of leak there, you can expect that it did damage inside of the wall. I mean, when you're buying a house from somebody who's letting those huge cracks go in the wall, do you think they're worried about a little bit of water dripping down their wall?
There and see how bad is this roof.
Okay.
It's bad. It needs replaced.
Start on demo?
And here's the thing. It's in a high-end house. It's probably not asphalt shingles. It's probably some kind of special tiles that it doesn't cost $5,000 or $10,000 to redo the roof. It costs, $30,000 or $40,000 to do the roof.
So you remember the last time we were here? I mean, rain was just coming through that roof.
Yeah, I mean,
like
the house was being flooded. Yeah,
It
I mean,
was
it's terrible. So
what I had my buddy do is he grabbed the drone and flew it up there to see what was going on. I don't want to put anybody on the roof, because with how bad that's coming through,
there isn't even a roof at all. It's a sheeting.
there's nothing.
And even the sheeting's missing right here.
We've got tile on the front, and that's it.
All right, well, how much is it gonna cost?
18,000?
This house is a mess.
You seriously think that an experienced house flipper on a TV show forgot to look at the roof before they bought the property? I mean, I know that you want to create some conflict when you're telling a story like this, but that one's hard to believe for me.
You didn't want the patio cover, right?
No.
Also, just that pergola or pergola that they're tearing out right now. If you would have gotten a pressure washer and pressure washed that wood, it would have looked really nice. And, some people would really love it. Sure, some people would want it torn down. I'm sure they're going to build some crazy thing back there, but I definitely wouldn't have been spending money on that. Paint it, if anything.
Just when we thought we tackled the worst issue with this house, Jeff got the final word from the engineers on how to fix the pool.
Everything from this wall is pulling downhill. Like, it feels...
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jeez. Okay, so how do we fix that?
What the engineer is saying is putting a bunch of piers under this thing, retaining walls back here and pushing all the soil back up. $80,000 to $100,000.
What? Ooh. We cannot afford another hit like this, especially after spending $100,000 to fix the...
I mean, they had an engineer come out, or they had the structural guy come out before they bought the house. Do you think they didn't see that as well? I mean, anytime you're buying a house that's on a hill like that, those are the first things you ought to be checking out, because a hill doesn't hold itself up. Eventually, the hill washes away. And so you should always be looking for signs of that hill washing away.
How much is it to just get rid of this pool?
I would say somewhere between 10 and 15,000.
We
That's
still have
to fill
to
in
add
the
the
pool.
concrete. We have to add the irrigation. We have to add the grass.
The thing is, they still have the problem if they do that. If they fill all of that in, the hill is still getting washed away. They'll still need to address the hill falling away. Of course, they won't have to stick the piers in underneath. They need to do something to retain that hill.
Even saying this, let's just spend the 15 grand, get rid of the pool, fill in dirt, start with a clean slate.
Okay.
Wow, that's some of the worst news
That's some
ever.
bad news, Jeff. We spent $247,000.
Oh.
So we paid $550 for the house, put about $250,000 into it, puts us at $800. $30,000 closing costs and commission, $830, staging $835.
We're into this house for almost $300,000.
Yes. We are so lucky the market saved us. The last 7 months, it has been kind of wild. It's almost a blessing in disguise, but the prices have actually gone up.
Okay, well, just really quick, I call this the wave. And this has caught me before too. This is like one of the reasons that investors think they're making money, but they're not actually making money. I call it the wave, and it means that the market is appreciating while you're doing that project. So they said it took them 7 months to do that project. And during that 7 months, the price went from whatever they thought it was going to be worth to what it's worth now. And that will happen to investors. This happened to me on, one of the early flips that I did, or actually a lot of the early flips that I did, where I was like, man, I'm making all kinds of money. And now when I look back in hindsight, I didn't make any money because of my great flipping skills. I made money because it took me so dang long to do the flip that the market carried me up. I rode the wave. And so the wave is a great thing. It's like a wind at your back, but you just need to make sure that if there wasn't the appreciation, would you have made any money? And you should definitely not plan on the appreciation, plan to make money in a stagnant market. Just don't fool yourself. That's all I'm saying.
I feel like we can push and come in maybe at like $979.
I think that's pretty fair.
If we get anywhere near list price, we did good.
Oh.
It's looking super cute.
Paint colors look nice. I love the front door. It looks super modern.
Moving the door from here to here and doing the new door, I think came out really, really nice.
Yeah, this area sets the precedence for a cool modern vibe, which it definitely did not have before.
Welcome home.
It's so clean and bright and modern.
I mean, they definitely gave it the HGTV look. I mean, and that's, kind of the look that we go for on all of our properties. Simple floors, whitish walls, everything clean and simple. But the thing is, they took a whole lot of character out of that house. And, I'm not like, that's not my thing. But what I am saying is they did all this work to give it this look. And, rewind this video when I was talking about how, I would just take the scary out of it, like the structural. And then somebody who has a vision that is different than mine would have loved that character, and they would have paid for that house to go flip it themselves. Obviously, doing that on HGTV isn't really going to bring in the viewers, but we're not talking about bringing in viewers. We're talking about bringing in profits. And, I used to do really high-end houses like this, and at some point I looked back and I said, well, I think I'd rather just make money.
Oh, this looks good. Look at the backsplash.
I love it. I'm really glad we went with the gray cabinets. Buyers are gonna love this kitchen. My favorite part though is actually the fireplace. I like how we kind of did a throwback to the old Chevron, but an updated version.
We took out that pool, but at least we have a good sized yard. It feels a lot bigger than it did before.
I mean, I wish it had a pool, but
No pool.
it's still nice.
But this was the loft, right?
Yeah, remember there was this was open. We added the closet, still a nice sized bedroom.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of wild that they, I'm just looking out that window there. Yeah, right there. Just look at those houses down the way. You got the clay tiles and, just that I'm not really good with styles, but it's like a Santa Fe type of style. Maybe that's what you'd call it, Southeast style. And, you know, that's nice, whatever. But then to have that house that they did, you know, where it's like, look at that. That looks cool. And that looks just basic. But look at this. This looks like a house that we would do to do it in a B-class neighborhood. I mean, it's got the stucco, which is fine. But, you know, the asphalt shingles like that, it just doesn't fit the neighborhood. So it's almost like you made your house like an odd bird, as we would call it, a misfit in the neighborhood. And like, that's a dangerous thing to do. Obviously, like, I'm sure when they go sell these things, the listing description says, as seen on Flip or Flop HGTV, and that would bring everybody running. But I think if like one of us tried to do an odd bird like that, you like, what happens when you do a misfit is it also misfits to the market, and there's not as many people. There might be like a person who likes it, but you're trying to appeal to the mass of the market, because the more people you have that want to buy it, the more value it has, you know, supply and demand.
Oh, that looks great.
This is a nice design. It's perfect for this area. It's timeless. All right, remember what a hot mess this room was?
Oh, I do.
Now I like how it has like 2 separate areas. Same fireplace design that I love.
It's actually pretty nice.
Well, we spent a ton of money here.
Let's sell this thing.
Did they leave the original bricks there? At least they left something. Some recycling, very little.
Taking on this flip ended up being a huge risk. Thankfully, all the money we poured into this remodel paid off. We're currently in escrow at $1,075,000.
Shit. Well, it all worked out. Happily ever after. Imagine that. There's definitely some Hollywood in there. You know, it's a show, so it should be like that. But my goal is to help people understand the reality of what it looks like to be a house flipper and ultimately a real estate investor. And, you know, it's like, you better have seen the roof. And also, I would say that the main things that I would take away from this is, one, when you have a lot of work to do like that, I actually believe it's less risky, because you now know you have to do everything. So as long as you do your due diligence and your underwriting and get the right price to make that work, you're actually in a better situation. I don't buy that they didn't see the structural stuff on the back. Like, if you had anybody, you know, the guys that come there to give you a structural estimate like that, especially if they were able to give an estimate right on the spot or a bid right on the spot, like, those are trained salespeople. Those aren't contractors. Those are salespeople. So you think he didn't see the big opportunity to get that one in the back, unless he's like a dirty contractor, which would be, he did know, but he was waiting to try to win that job so then he could bring up the other thing later. All right, so that's one, is it's less risky when you have more things to do in a lot of cases. Two is, sure, it was Hollywooding, but, you know, make sure you do your underwriting well. You got to look for things like, if you're on a hill, there's issues and you need to go find them. Always look at the roof. Always look at the major items, you know, the big 6, which is the roof, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, siding and windows, and structural. Always make sure that you have those when you're looking at a house, even if you have to go through quickly. Make sure you know all of those items. And then the third one is, a flip doesn't necessarily mean you tear everything out and redo it. In fact, it shouldn't mean that at all. Like, in a lot of cases, people want to start everything back at new, and at the end of the day, the only thing they're keeping is some of the framing. Well, at that point, you should have torn the sucker down and just built new. The key of house flipping is having a good eye and a good vision, understanding what material could be recycled, what looks that you could reuse, and people, you know, it would still have the same effect instead of going all out and redoing everything. And that might mean that you're selling the house to another flipper that maybe has a more creative vision than you, because I really don't think you should go try to have a creative vision. You should have a business vision. Save the creative for your hobbies. But the great thing about HGTV is it has given us a common look that we can strive for. If you get the grays and the whites and the blacks and the LVPs and the white walls and the shaker cabinets, you have a look that everybody has seen, and they'll pay more money for that look. It's a very easy look to get, and so thank you, HGTV, for that.